I didn't prepare very much my speech, so I just tell you my story. I think Americans is very good for immigrants, fair for everybody. If you want to work, you fight for it and you get it when you want. So, I come in Hong Kong, 1969. When I come here, I'm nothing. I have 7 brothers and sisters. So I don't even have money to rent an apartment. We stay in my aunt's house. The first day I come to New York, I went to, they bring me to restaurant, survey. And the first day, I went to kitchen, looking for a job. And the second day, I worked for a restaurant, washing dishes. After 3 months, I said, I'm going to change my life. I cannot be in a restaurant, kitchen. Then I went to the factory to learn how to do garments. So in that time, I graduated my job. After I finished my job, I helped everybody, every department, to do their work. And I learned, from there, I learned it for every department. In 6 months, I know completely the whole factory what they need to do. By accident, the foreman got sick. The factory had no one control. And I told the owner, let me help you. I went there to help them, and after this year, they said, wow, this guy very organized. And he looked like he knows everything. So, and then after 6 months, they got paid for me for double my salary. And one be an assistant foreman. So from there, I worked for 2 years, and I called my sister from Canada. I said, how much money you got? She said, I have very little. She said, yeah, I said, you have 10,000? I said, yeah, I got 10,000. I said, I'm going to I have 10,000. I went to the bank to get other loan for 10,000. I said, I want to start my business. They said, are you sure? I said, that's the only way I could change my life. I cannot be working for somebody, and I have to be that time I'm working for 2 shifts, working 18 hours a day. And I told my parents, I take all my first paycheck for you to support the family, and the second paycheck save for me what I want to do a business. So in 2 years, I saved 10,000, and I start my business in that time. So after 6 months, the company start getting organized and start making money. But I heard that other factory I left, they have large trouble, and the owner working too hard and went to hospital. So no one control the business. I feel better. I started from them, and they helped me a lot. I said, let me help them to organize the factory until they come out from the hospital. And I give back to them. And they said, want me to come back? I said, no, I cannot, because I still have loan to pay, and I have a family to support. I cannot anymore. After the time, he called me again. They said, I want to talk to you. And after, they said, want to sell me the factory? I said, I have no money. They said, what happened? I lease it for you. You just pay me rent, and you for 2 years. After I get my health back up there, and you give it back to me. I said, that may be a good chance for me. I come to, I said, let me talk to my sister. I told my sister, can you able to handle the factory if I go to other factories to start? And I want this factory to support the family, and we do it. Anytime you need me, I come back. So my sister said yes. My parents also work in the factory. They said, we got enough hands. Go to start your own. So I go to the bank to get the other $5,000 as a capital. Then I get my credit card, also $5,000. Then I told the owner, I have no money for give you deposit. If you trust me, if I have money, I'm never going to owe you my money. He said, I trust you 100%. When you will, I know the way you will. So he turned the factory for me without deposit, without anything, and I just paid rent for them. So the first day, I said, I gotta make sure I make money. And that's why the whole factory is supposed to be 3 to 4 people to work. And for foreman, I'm only one person. I said, I could take care of the whole thing. And I figured, if I cannot finish my job, I'm going to stay here for 24 hours. I have to do my work. And because all the workers, we worked with me for 2 years. They all said, you happy a lot when you have a job, and we all were happy. So we have a very solid foundation, good foundation. The people work for me, and after 6 months, I see I can't have money. I don't know how much I make. I sit down, I said, wow. The first 6 months, I make $100,000. I said, now I want to start my new plan. I start hiring people, hiring 4 other people to control. I said, let me sit down to office to do my plan. My planning, every 6 months, every 4 months, I want to open my factories. Because I want 2 years time, I have enough business before I turn this factory to the owner. So after 2 years, I will have 4 factories started open. So then I told my owner, now the factory is doing very good. I could turn it back to you. He said, you're doing too good. Soon I get into the factory, I look at my heart attack. I cannot take over. I sell to you. And that time he was sell for 50,000. But I gave him 100,000. I said, I make enough money, so I pay you double. You helping me, and I have the time to be appreciated. At that time, I took over the factory. And following my schedule, every 6 months, I open manufacturers. In a couple of years, I have over 1,000 people work for me. So come to 1980, and I said, I want to be doing real estate. That time, New York City always go bankrupt. All the real estate, the price is so cheap. $20 per square feet, you could buy it. So I bought a building, the first building on Marsh Street and Canal Street, the corner building. Then I bought it for under $1 million. So, and the figure, I could buy every year 1 or 2 buildings. And I started figure out the rent, I make sure I enough pay the mortgage. Then I will continue to buy buildings. But at that time, I tried to work with the bank. Even the bank is my tenant. They said they cannot loan me any money. And I told them I have a couple $1 million in your account. So I want $600,000 loan. He said, I cannot. I said, why? He said, I'm manager, I only have allowance of $200,000. That's the maximum I could lend. If we lend more than 2,000, you have to go to a big account, and they're not going to give to you. So I can fail. So then I said, I have to be changed. If the bank doesn't give me a door, I got to create my own door. I called a couple of friends together. Let's start a bank. Everyone looked at me crazy. That time, no Chinese start a bank. I said, I want to start a bank. So they said, okay, they Christian enough with me together to apply the banking license. 1980, my banking license come out in 84, and I opened my bank in 1985. East End. As soon as I started a bank, I said, I want to be a community bank. I want to make sure our community, when they buy building, we want to lend to them. So the banking business is not a good business because the margin is so small, the risk is so high. If anything, the work is doing wrong thing, and they said, only tell me, you're only going to be in jail. I said, wow, I think I'm a very big risk. That's why I said, I'm a big shareholder. I said, I have to step down. I sell most of my share. But the bank shareholder doesn't let me to go. He said, you gotta stay here. You serve on the board. So before they let me sell some of my stuff. So right now, I'm the banking, I'm in 40 years. I don't have 1 year bad loan. And also we have the community a lot. That's why I said, in the United States, it's very even for everybody. Soon you have a goal, and you follow your goal to work, and you want to be number one. So the real estate board from 1980, $1 million, and come to 1987, have over 10 buildings on my head. And I see the price went too crazy. I said, I gotta sell some of 50% of my portfolio. The first building I buy for $1 million, and 86, I sell for $6 million. So what I spent for $500,000, buy the building and $500,000 loan, and the loan I take over. They don't give me a new loan, I take over the whole loan. So I make $5 million for it. So only 5-6 years, it's 10 times double my investment. So I sell about 5 buildings at that time. I get in a lot of cash. I said, now I'm going to do my next step. I want to be in a garment industry. I want to be working my own labels. I'm hiring a lot designer, hiring some Jewish people to do sales, and I'm controlling merchandise. What I need to do is I do for lady apparel. So lady apparel, lady very picky, not like men. So I have to make sure how can I serve them to make sure they're happy. So I'm not a designer, but I figure what I could create, I cannot be the designer. I could create a fabric, be a better fabric, and I take the great wood from China to Korea to do the printing. So my printing, I'm the number one printing in the garment industry. So my business from $5 million went to $10 million. So then I take the fabric to wash and get a soft into it, and I create a washable silk. From $10 million, I jumped to like $50 million. And I keep tell the designer what to do to make the fabric, and they do the design and run around. So in 90, our company become a $100 million company. Become one of the biggest garment producers in New York City. And over 3,000 workers. And Asia, a lot of pressure controlled by the union and controlled by the association. We tie our hands. We cannot grow. I figured something wrong. I gotta change the whole world. I went up to stage the radio, and I tell people what's wrong, everything open up. So all the members said, wow, yeah, we have fight for it. So I'm getting big support. I'm getting all the members giving big support. Then I taking the role, and enroll me to be a first president in the garment industry, the biggest association, very broad association, in the number one association in New York. That time is a 60 years association, right now it's 100 years. I become the first president in that association. Take out the Italian, take out the Jewish. And I said, I want to change the whole system for it. So I got to change the new board and make the whole system come in. At that time, the mafia control very strong. The mafia said, 5 families call me. I want to see you. I went there, everyone said, don't go there. I said, I have to go there to see what they want. When I go up there, they said, are you able to sit on there? That's it. Are you feel comfortable? I said, only when you let me to see it, I will see it. If you want me to get up, I will give you a key and tell everybody. And any question, ask you. He said, no, you cannot explore my name. I said, what are you going to do? Then they figure out, how are you going to control the association? I said, I need power. I said, I don't take care of money. Your guy take care of money. I don't need salary. Your guy, I want 100 people. Oh, good deal. All they're looking for money. So I don't take salary, I don't take expenses, I don't take anything. They said, okay, you got our support. They fully support me. But when I sit down with the union, I said, you got what you have in the background, I have what you have in my background. Now the ego. I want to talk ego. The union said, I cannot lose your face. I said, okay, you don't lose your face. I cannot lose money. How are you going to figure out? So the union said, okay, we work on the contract. You don't lose money, I don't lose space. With a new contract, set it up, and we announce it, you win. And I announce it to a member, I get what I want. So after that, we have 20 years, no fight. We all good friends with them. Until July, they come in. They said, you're the mafia. I told them, I'm not. They said, you're the mafia. All around you is the mafia. I said, the American system is a mafia control. And I just, with the game, without money. They said, you paid in the mafia. I said, I don't know, I don't control money. And after the check, they said, oh, you're too dangerous. I get you 2 DA, 24 hours, anytime you want, pay phone call, we support you 100%. So I got Giuliani for support, I got mafia support, I got government support. So then, Giuliani said the strict orders. All the mafia cannot stay with me 500 feet. So I said, how can I have a meeting? If 500 feet, the cabinet said, I cannot sit down with you. Because that's a strict order. And it's okay to talk to my sister. So we uploaded the control. I have Giuliani said, now I told you, you cannot pay them. And I told, I put up, I said, you send me a fiscal letter from the mayor. He sent me a letter, and I posted it in the association. I told everybody, you want to get paid, you got to come in to punch your time card, put your salary into it. Then you got paid. And I told the big 6 accounting firm, do the payroll, without time card, no payroll. And they yelled at me. Why you do that to me? I said, I could without seeing, but I cannot be against the law. You understand? So I said, okay, you pay me 7. I said, okay, we get a lawyer and pay them 7. Clean up, use a couple $1 million, clean up all the mafia. So that's the story. We cannot let them to, you have to stand up to fight, but you have to be fair. Don't step into their hole, and don't get greedy to take their money. You don't take their money, even you do something wrong, they also say, oh, this guy, they're not for himself, it's for the industry. I want to for the industry. That's why we change the whole gummy industry. Right now, a lot of big brand names owned by the Chinese. You may go course all the big brand names owned by the Chinese before, very difficult. So, then in 90s, the gummy industry started moving to overseas. I have nobody in overseas, I have no background overseas. They said, wow, I cannot compete with them. I didn't, even a long one in gum industry, I said, I'm very quick. I could lose my base. They go take over, they take over. They cannot compete with them on the price. So then I figured out, I need to change my business. I started to real estate. And then take the old building, convert to condo, convert to office, convert to shopping mall. So we started to develop. In 1996, the market went down, and 90 all dropped. Real estate dropped 60 to 70%. A lot of people go bankrupt. Our company is that's strong because we sell 50% of our portfolio. And we very strong in business. We all keep real estate and business in two sides. So when real estate make money, I double my business. When the real estate have problem, I got my business support the real estate. And always take it this way. So, and that's how you balance your business. So in 96, by accident, I bought a hotel. Then I figured out I want to do a renovation. After doing renovation, I said, that's not what I want. Because I see a lot of things I cannot change it. I'm a designer, and I was make a garment, tie in how to make efficiency. So when you have an old building, you can make efficiency. That's why I said, come to New York. I said, I want to build a hotel. That time, nobody built a hotel. So I locked the door, talking to Starwood, talking to Hilton, talking to Merrill. They all left to me. Chinese people doesn't know how to do hotel. So I have no choice. Get in the big name, and I go steps down and go to the Howard Johnson. Come in. So they said, okay, no problem. You get Howard Johnson come in. So build 3 hotels in the same time. A small hotel. After build, I feel comfortable. I can do better. And I design the hotel. Everybody, but you need a corner to do. What do you need to do? I said, no. Hotel on the television and the computer, you want the area. Doesn't matter, corner or not corner. Even the side street, even on the middle block, you still go to hotel. Change the whole New York system, side street, mid block to hotel, and work. Then I decide the small room to make that work, and that room I do it for the size, and you should decide the furniture to fit into the room and make that work, and that's a double our revenue. And when I do that, staff will give me the very good response. I do the first hotel, and I'm building the whole New York City. We have 98% of customers. Every day before, how are you doing so good? You want to learn from me? Then I said, I give them something you don't have. It's a hotel. So they said, President said, wow, this is what I need. They don't understand. I could do for hotel for you. Still baby double. And I create the new brand who are local and very successful. After that, then I become the biggest hotel. Everybody called me up. He said, your free hand to be Marriott, Hilton, and everybody. And I built the first hotel in Times Square, 500 rooms. I created a rooftop bar. That time no rooftop bar. And the first I created rooftop bar, the first day to $15,000 business. Afterward, I said, the people wait for 2 hours. I said, I need to change it. So I changed it for final bottle, go first, VIP. If final cup, come to 2 hours. So VIP 1 bottle, VVP 2 bottles, VVP 3 bottles. So The first day attention becomes 65,000 a day. So make a lot of money and everybody said, wow, this is something happening. And then, now the whole world follow my direction, look about. And I start my own management company, 1917, 15 years ago. I started 15,000, started management company. In 2 years, I become a top 100. After 10 years, it become top 25 in the country. So in pandemic, hotel lost a lot of money. It's the first time I lost money. So I needed cash. Everybody said, I want to buy your menu company. So I started with 300,000, I sold $65 million. No equity, just a contract for $65 million. And this is a story that when you do it for something, you want to learn, you want to know what you need, the customer what they need. You get the customer what you need, and you're always successful that way. I don't care what they say. That's why when the first hotel come up, Starwood said, you not follow my rules, you not follow my design. And I fight with them, and they're all happy. After open for 6 months, they all come to me. They said, we want to hire the director. We want to hire the thing. That's why I start with making for lifestyle. They do doing that way. And start with that, I want to put you in a board. Tell our people how to do it. So even you don't know, but you have the idea what the customer want, and you provide what the customer want, then your company is always successful. That's what I can tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President John. Everything about President John now is epic, legendary, and landmark. What I can find about myself as epic, legendary, and landmark is my failures. And also my bad habits are epic, legendary, and landmark. So we have a lot of learning to do from President John Lam, and we'd like to give him a certificate of appreciation for giving us lessons that are valuable in life. Thank you, President John Lam, for giving us valuable lessons. Thank you.
Moment. Hey.
Our next speaker is a human calculator. She once solved a financial model in her sleep, and she can give you real meanings of what real imaginative opportunities, return on investment, and real happy endings to you. She would help you put your pain and put your brain to pain, but then you get rewarded. Let's welcome to the stage Professor Leah Rong.
Thank you very much again. I will just share a little bit about our business school, Boston International Business School. I just mentioned 2018, we started the education fund. So beginning, we purchased a small campus in suburb of Boston, which was a campus, side campus of Northeastern University. And how you can make this business school work. So together with the founders, one of the founders, Peter Nero, he also come from Spain and studied in Harvard, got a DBA. And he went back to Spain, started IESE Business School in Spain, which has become a top business school in the world. And in 2000, that time I just graduated from Harvard Law School and Harvard Kennedy School. So, and that time, it's a lot of negotiation going on, but China entered WTO. So Peter Nero, as a dean, and also as a educator, you think, oh, China, we're going to have a lot of need. because the Chinese company need to learn how to do business internationally. Then he will overcome so many difficulties. He started a business school in Shanghai. He got the support from European Union and the government locally in Shanghai. That is business school called the China European International Business School, CIBS. Today, CIBS is a top business school in the world. So that time, I had the opportunity to really talk with him about how to start a business school in Boston. And he said, Boston is such an important place for education, but I think education needs more innovation in executive education. And together, we started to focus to train to start the global CEO program to train CEOs how to do business internationally. So we had a lot of sessions like today, but today is just a new tribe, try to bring the speakers from different perspectives. So from some people are lawyers, some people are representative for new finance, some people representative of new technology, Web3, and real world assets. Some people is the leader for the international peace, like Michael Daly, who is famous Nobel Peace nominee, right? So I think a lot of time when you bring the top speakers from all different fields, so you have an interdisciplinary approach, which is very important for decision making. So education is changing. So how we can make our education be an innovative one and with sustainability. So our approach is to train our students. Not only, when you go to business school, a lot of things you really learn is how to be a leader, how to do operation, but a lot of time maybe they didn't pay a lot of attention to technology. So in our program, the CEOs come, they really take an in-depth study in technology. For example, AI, computer science, and robot science, not only from professors, also from practitioners. And also take a lot of coursework in art, movies, music. So we want to make the CEOs really become integrated leader as a happy and productive person, innovative. So that's our approach. But I just think today is also we use this opportunity to try to say we're coming to New York, we're looking for new opportunities to work with new partners, to really have this kind of classes going on in a regular way. So I just try to put a little bit background here. After today's lecture, we also have a networking and dinner session. If you stay, we can maybe to share more information afterwards. And also, if you come late, this is Chinese app, WeChat. If you download that, I think all the people in the classroom will be stay in a group. So I think in Manhattan, in New York State, and a lot of Chinese here, but a lot of times it's so easy to stay in our own community. We try to, as a business school, try to have an integration, the top business leaders, and integrated with lawyers, bankers, and educators, make an integrated effort. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Liang. Professor Liang Long is also the co-dean of the Boston International Business School. With her, everything is impactful, innovation, and global scale. The only thing I have with me that's global is global snack delivery options. So next up, we're going to face a very interesting question. Can we live forever? Can we be forever young? And at what extent will you go for to achieve longevity? Good news, breaking news. Someone is talking about good news and breakthroughs and milestones in longevity. We have two doctors, Professor Julia Low and Helen Xu, should talk to us about this topic. But first, let me give you some quotes from famous people. Bob Hope says, when your candles are more expensive than your birthday cake, that means you're getting old. And someone says, you know you're getting old when everything is either dried up or leaking. But Mark Twain says it best. Age is only an issue of mind and matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Let's give the stage to Dr. Julia Low and see what has she to say and good news to tell us about longevity and the frontiers of longevity science. Let's welcome to the stage Dr. Julia Low.
大家好，这是朱叶。我讲中文哈。今天呢，我给大家，我来了以后呢，我发现很多面孔都是我认识的，每个人都问我今天你带来什么 gift？What's a gift bring to everybody？ 我今天带来 two gifts. One is Dr. Xu. Next year, she's going to give us every single month longevity and healthcare seminar. The second one is 第二个 gift 呢是我们的牛肉 pose. Every single day you only need 10 seconds, 2 fingers. Within 3 minutes, you will know exactly your biological age. Welcome, Dr. Xu.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone. Hello New York. Hello New Yorkers. And all people come to this place. Appreciate your time. My name is Helen Xu. Probably you see my bio there. And then you probably will see, wow, you're a doctor, right? Why you're talking about the only health and the longevity. And my experience covers from the clinic as an internist, and a researcher, scientist, and also I'm sitting on different boards, and particularly for the innovation, medical, research, etc. So today I think why we talk about this, because this is something related to each of you. I promise. You may not raise your hands. Do you care about your health? Raise your hands. Yes. Do you care about your longevity? Yourself, your parents, your great-parents, etc., right? Even maybe your grandchildren or your niece, whatever. So I think now it's end of the year. We don't want to do something for your brain. Just say, hey, let's talk about very interesting, something related to each of you. I hope this is also good education by end of this year. Thank you. Very simple agenda, very, very simple. Talk about the health and the longevity. What is the concept? Each of you may think about, oh, I think I'm very healthy. Some people may think, I'm not healthy enough. Okay, let's just review the concept. That's my agenda. First of all, let's review a couple of concepts about health and longevity. And then we're going to cover what is the healthy lifestyle. I know you all know it. Just give a review. It doesn't, right? Doesn't hurt, because we're going to 2026. 2026, yeah. After that, I put your specific concerns. You probably will say, wow, Helen, how do you know? I don't know you very well. How dare you say, it is my concern. I'm going to show a table. Covers about 28 items. I promise each of you will have some box checked. Okay. After that, you say, oh, if I have some problem, what do? We do have solutions for you. Okay, we do have about the health, about your longevity. What is the future perspective? That's something we always look forward. And that's something I'm going to just give very short definition about future perspective about the medicine. And then the last one, you probably will be very, very interesting. We have a series events about the health and longevity in 2026. I hope that's one of your New Year resolution item, okay? I'm not saying everything, but one of them. Okay, concept, health. So we talk about the health. You probably heard about people's lifespan. For example, my parents, they both are 90s. Very soon, on January 1st, they are going to celebrate their 70th anniversary, wedding anniversary. They both are doctors, and also very, very, I think, healthy, mind very, very, very sharp. So how do we do that? Okay, that's what I said. Lifespan and also health span. Right? That's about health span and the wellness. If you have a good wellness, you will feel you live better. Right? You want to live better. Okay, lifespan plus longevity. It is about longevity. You live longer. Some people live better. Some people live longer. However, the combination, it is about your quality life. Some people will say, oh, do you have a quality life? Oh, I may have some quality time. Right? Quality, a lot of time, intended, talking about your physical health. But do you have a peace in mind? Do you have a good sleep? Are you really happy? Like now it's holiday season. Do you feel joyful? Do you have a peace, hope, love, etc.? So I think come to the place we would like you have a quality life and a peaceful life. So that's something I try to break this concept about the health and longevity into different pieces. Very easy to understand, right? Everyone can read, simple. All right. Okay, health lifestyle. All the elements around the longevity, because everyone knows exercise is important, nutrition is important, stress management is important, also genetic, right? Genetics. People say, oh, Helen, your parents live, okay, both of them 90s. Oh, you do have a good longevity gene, maybe. But I believe so, right? Because both of them. Sometimes one parent live over 100 years, another parents maybe is different age. So that means you have some genetics from your father's side and from your mother's side. Genetics is something you inherited from your ancestors. However, do you care about your own body? It depends on what kind of lifestyle you have, right? That's something that's important. And the nutrition, good sleep, connection with the friends, like here, you all come here, you feel like energy over there. All those around us here will contribute to longevity. This is the table. I say, I take my liberty, say, your specific design. This is from Harvard, okay? This is reference, Harvard Health Publishing, from Harvard Medical School. All the list, total 28. You probably looks very familiar. When you go to have annual checkup, go to see your doctor, right? They ask you about the medical history, and then they will give a table, a different way. Maybe it's table, maybe just a checklist. So, do you have hypertension? Do you have diabetes? What about the cancer from your family, your parents, your brothers, sisters? Cancer, right? Obesity, all kinds of things. So I would say, why do I say you? Usually I don't say, I don't know all of you, right? I know some of you, but not all of you. With those 28 lists, can you tell me at least one box you are checking? One? Can you raise your hand? At least one. Okay. Some of the two, some of the three. Now make you feel, oh, I do, because that's something, maybe it is my problem. What do we do? Most important, say, we do have a solution for you. Okay, it's like a review. Sometimes you need to be reminded, manage your health condition. Okay, here. That's why you say I break into two parts. The solution is yourself, it's you. Not only you have concerns, you do have your solution. Okay, practice healthy lifestyle. Not only about you know the concept, not only about you know the knowledge, please practice. I add it daily. Okay? Daily practice is important because that's long-term practice. It's not something you say, I did it today, tomorrow, okay, I indulge myself, and then the day after, okay, I didn't take a walk. So there's a lot of standards from WHO about how do you take care of your house, how much water you're going to drink, how many steps, okay, for women, for men, and those are something. And what is your blood pressure, and what is your weight, BMI, etc. Okay, please, most important, the key section it is, you are your own doctor. Okay, you are your own doctor. You are in control. So that's the left part. Still, people live like I think from this room, right, about 100 people. Some people are very young, 20s, right, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Each of you may have some different concerns and conditions. We do have the medical support here. Okay, medical support, the support is not about you wait until you say, oh, I was diagnosed with cancer. Oh, okay, oh, I was diagnosed with stroke or something. Don't wait. So most important, especially the future of medicine, it is prevention. Okay? Also, I listen about make sure don't miss your regular check. Some people say, oh, I have annual check. Sometimes it's not enough. Okay? Sometimes make sure at least once a year. Some people they may need every 6 months or more regularly. So what I said is regular physical examinations. You can do it, right? Genetic testing. Genetic testing is, a lot of people will say, oh, why do I feel good. Why do I need to have it? So have this one, you know, certain things you are very, very vulnerable. For example, someone's father has lung cancer, mother has a hypertension and stroke, okay? And someone's sister has like a Parkinson's. Those are something you can have earlier detection. So the genetic testing and the biomarker. Biomarker is something, I'll give you an example. Someone has a breast cancer. I will encourage them to say, go through your family tree and make sure do the screening. You may, okay? If your aunt has breast cancer, you may have more possibility, high risk to get this one. So that's something we call, go do the biomarker and you can do the family mapping. Those information, technology, all available. Take time and take care of yourself. Okay, I talk about the preventive medicine. When we say doctor, right? Doctor, myself, from my family, I'm the 5th generation of doctor. Okay, Chinese medicine, that was my great-great-father, and then my great-father, medicine, my parents, myself, etc. So people will think, at what time I'm going to see a doctor? Don't wait until you're really sick. So prevention, okay? Preventive medicine, if you go Google, put the keywords there, preventive medicine, there's some doctors only focus on manage your health, manage your healthy lifestyle, okay? Provide the nutrition, all kinds of things. And the early medical intervention, when we do early medical intervention, that's because we have to know all the technologies. Certain things, it is available, okay? It is available there. And then you go Google, web, like the ChatGPT. So please educate yourself. And then that's something I encourage you to be your own doctor. Okay, we have also a lot of AI is coming. AI is not coming, it's a trend. A lot of things are already integrated into the medical field. And the health awareness education, you're going to see the calendar. I'm not sure how many people know the calendar, right? The wellness, each month we have something focused. Right? Focus on certain things, focus on certain like disease prevention and treatment. Okay, so future, right? Future. And then we're looking forward to 2026. So that means now we're also talk about future. This is more like a definition. The definition is we are thinking about how to advance the treatment prevention and not only work on one. This is called one size fits all. Oh, I need antibiotics. I'm going to see a doctor. Oh, I have a flu. No, those are a lot of things. It's one size fits all. We want to make sure it is holistic, well-being, maintenance. So that's why we say we're going to shift to a proactive, personalized, and the predictive model, particularly integrate with the new technology and the early intervention, okay, digital monitoring, etc. Okay, I think I have 10 minutes. I'm not sure if my time's over. So I want to make sure here's something we talk about. Okay, stay tuned. This today is just overview. And if you are interested in, I will encourage you to come again and again. We do have this series, all kinds of workshops, and align with the American Wellness calendar. Okay, that's something I think I will just, in order to save your time, and in order to keep the little flavor over there, I want to make sure you will like come back again and again. So we'll be very specific education seminar aligned with technology, information, products, and the medical device, etc. And something interesting, I'm originally from China, so Chinese medicine has been there for almost 1,000 of years. A lot of things, Tai Chi, acupuncture, herbal medicine, nutrition products, a lot of things. It could be mystery for you, right? Some people, if you've never been in China, but there's a huge resource over there. We would like to see the integrated approach for you, yourself, with a holistic care. Okay, this I don't have to repeat, but you can also Google, you'll find this one. So our seminar or workshop, starting from January 2026, will be aligned with those American Wellness calendar. This is one of the strategy. I want to make sure we are aligned with the society and to get the synergy there, awareness there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shi.
Have a great holiday.
Thank you, Dr. Shi, for giving us the good news. We now know that science and medicine are finally on our side to make us younger and possibly live forever. When I came in, I was so tired and lethargic, and I feel that I'm almost losing my fire and vibrancy. But now I have hope, and I think I'm feeling younger now. Okay, thank you, Dr. Shi, and we want to appreciate your contributions by giving you a certificate of appreciation. Thank you, Dr. Shi, for giving us valuable lessons about longevity.
Today also is a big moment. Not only appoint Dr. Helen Shi become our professor, and be professor in New York for longevity focused program, and also we announced a new partnership with the Harvard Cell Technology Research Institute. So the director is Julie Long, and she will say a few words to all of us.
我就不耽误大家时间哈，因为我看见很多人讲中文。我 promise 大家的给大家的 gift， 待会儿到这边来，我只需要你10秒钟，你的 2 fingers。
Some very innovative things, and all the attendees had opportunity to receive the gift.
Let's make a good photo together.
Next up, we have someone who is very interesting. He's almost like a human intelligent ATM, ready to give you money if you know the code and the password. I don't know. He knows Mr. Caleb Siemens, Alumni Venture Capital, the third largest venture capital company in the world.
Thank you so much. As a venture capitalist, Alumni Ventures, my job is simply to source post-seed startup opportunities for investment. We invest post-seed to pre-IPO. And I would love to talk about just what the venture capital asset class is today, because even many investors aren't sure. So if I have...
Yeah. Let me find Jason, where are you?
So Going over venture capital and regional growth, what we see is that venture capital is an economic multiplier of innovation regionally. So, what is venture capital? Let's define the asset class. Where usually you may buy, trade, hold stocks, bonds, and so on. The startups represent high growth equity that comes out of a team forming, building a product, and I think like the last speaker said, seeing needs, filling a need. We provide capital in the venture capital asset class to early stage, high potential startups, and yet after those startups are funded, you continue to invest. It's not like bank debt. As a venture capitalist, I or any other would take equity in exchange for part of the company, and then returns are distributed to your players afterwards. It's a long-term growth play. High risk, but high reward as well. I love technology. At Alumni Ventures, we have a lot of different swag, as you might call it. And one of them says, I'm a tech enthusiast. I think I say this because sometimes we try to get tech to work as best we can. I'm grateful that there are a burgeoning number of entrepreneurs coming out today. I wonder if I can get someone to help me. I'm not sure this is working. You guys are wonderful. I think the idea here is to, I think the thing is working here, I'm trying pressing up and down. Is there a place I should point it to? Thanks, guys. We're always very technical things everywhere. So, where are we looking at VC? Where does it belong? It belongs in the sort of umbrella category of alternative assets. In that, we've really got four large pillars. With private equity, if you think about firms like KKR and so on, real estate generates about 47% of the wealth in this country. And then you have commodities and hedge funds, which, depending on your exposure and your ability to source $100 million deals plus, your mileage may vary. But venture capital is early stage venture capital. You look at organizations, accelerators like Techstars, Y Combinator, and also large firms like Andreessen Horowitz or Sequoia. So venture capital typically represents about 5 to 15% of the institutional allocation of alternative investments, which essentially means because this is a business where you're funding from unbankable to highly bankable companies that are building in real time, there are stages. So there's seed stage, the team is there, but they need proof of concept, they're building their initial product. Series A and B, product market fit, they have a product, there's demand, there is buying in the market, their business is growing. At the growth stage, these organizations rapidly expand. Their goal is to dominate the market to the extent that their presence makes it difficult for other later market entrants and current market participants that are less productive. It's a very meritocratic asset class. And of course, exit, I pay IPO or strategic M&A from the investment bank. What does venture capital do for geographies? When venture capital comes in a massive number, say through a startup accelerator like Y Combinator, or through something like Angels and Horowitz, for every one high-tech job created by a venture capitalist funded startup, you get 5 to 8 additional jobs in the local service economy. It could be anything from IT, it could be health, it could be collectibles, so on. Wherever that economic growth is wherever that economic growth is coming from, the adjacent industries are going to benefit. So by bringing venture capital to any geography, you increase the economic value over time more than it would have in the first place. And this really contributes to a clustering effect. The more venture capital comes into a geography, the more startups, the more talent, the more overwhelming revenue combined in these markets feed each other. It becomes a sort of symbiotic effect where VC feeds innovation, feeds talent, feeds jobs, fuels economic development in any geography. The resulting density of talent, you have the opposite of brain gain, more knowledge, more specialization, more labor force that can be valuable to that geography or others. Active VC, invested ecosystems see very high resilience economically because startups and their teams come from everywhere. Their products and their ideas represent more than just what's in front of you. So you have these highly diversified solutions all over the world. The more you can invest, the better for you, the better for others as well. Like I said, not only is VC talent management, it creates better tax infrastructure to support the growth happening. And that leads to strategic R&D in those technologies, creating those products in those geographies. That just makes it a positive feedback loop. So VC is inherently good for economic growth. 85% of patents come from VC-backed firms. That's a figure that's out there, publicly known. While 47% of the wealth in this country might be generated from real estate, that's not a percentage of output of patents, output of business value, so on and so forth. VC-backed firms do the most of this, and yet it's not a widely known asset class. One huge market that VC is benefiting right now is deep tech. Deep tech already creates billionaires. So why is that though? Because deep tech is an umbrella, AI, quantum, cybersecurity, blockchain, etc. So you have these critical industries that can buff up your national security, can improve every industry. AI is taking over everything right now. Venture capital firms that fund these sectors become the world's greatest decision makers and enable other people to follow in their footsteps. People like you, people like those in this room who want to create companies. Venture capital is a good answer for you. We provide the patient capital. Venture capital is required for projects that would be moonshots or, oh, this is impossible. No. Venture capital steps in and adds value. More than usually even government grants can give. So that's really all I have to say. I would love any questions anybody has. I'm raising a $10 million fund to fund deep tech here in New York, pre-seed. I would love to talk to anybody who's curious. Thank you so much.
Thank you, students. Thank you very much. Let's hope money grows on trees or the sky will rain money. If not, at least we have Palestinians. Now, I want to review to you a superhero that saved us from the AI and computer revolt when they were trying to dominate the world in the Y2K crisis. And when he was fixing the POS server system in the restaurant, and then he told the servers to behave yourself and do a good job. Whereupon all the restaurant waitress and waiters salute and stand in line and salute him. Yes, sir. Let's welcome to stage this unknown superhero who helped us with the Y2K millennium crisis, Greg Lakis, to the stage.
Thank you, Elvis. So who is Lincoln IT and where is AI going? What is AI? What is cybersecurity? So before we get into any of that, you have to go back to the beginning. You have to go back to traditional IT and IT support. So Lincoln IT is a nationwide 24/7 managed services provider that keeps the lights on for companies large and small. And we're now 160 technical staff. We have offices here in New York City, Long Island, we're down in Florida, we have an office in the Philippines, we have an office in Cyprus. What are we built on? We're built on trust, we're built on the people that support our company, the partners that we have, innovation, customer success, and giving back. What are our brands? IT Care is the traditional support that we offer our clients. We have a 24/7 unlimited IT support and cybersecurity practice for a flat fixed monthly fee. We also offer private cloud and cybersecurity, backup and disaster recovery services. Our help desk is 24/7. We answer as your company. We don't outsource. We don't have any 800 numbers. We don't have any transfers, any account numbers. We get right into the problem. Anybody that calls into our company, they jump right into the issue, whether it's traditional IT, support matters, or security. We're a 24/7 data center and cybersecurity practice as well. So we're true tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and now tier 4. Which means we don't go down, which means our data centers are cross-replicated, the data is backed up around the clock, and it's cross-replicated between sites. If there is a disaster, the data is still live. Where are our two main data centers? We have one on Long Island and one in New Jersey, and those are where they would cross-replicate the data to and from. We do integration services. We do rollouts nationwide for hospitals, for banks, for law firms, where we bring the equipment in, we stage it, asset tag it, image it, and then deploy it. We also offer structured cabling. Our partners, obviously big in the security stack, CrowdStrike, Barracuda, Cisco, Palo Alto, just to name a few. Obviously, traditional hardware and software manufacturers like Microsoft, Cisco, Dell, HP, the VMware team. The tools we use. Some of our clients. And I'm going to give you an AI use case, right? So, cybersecurity is big, AI is even bigger. One of our clients is River Spring Health. They're located in the Bronx. They are a senior living facility. They're probably one of the largest in the country, with many, many acres on the Hudson. There are some seniors that have either no family or very little family. So they reached out to their trusted partners like us, and they asked us if we knew an AI company that could help them. There's a company called Mila. What is Mila? Mila is an AI, quote-unquote, person that the people that live at River Spring Health can call, and Mila remembers every conversation that you've had with her. Sports, hobbies, family, interests, politics, religion, whatever it is that that individual wants to talk about, Mila will have a full-blown conversation with that individual. This has been tremendous for the outlook of the individuals that are living at River Spring Health. Mila's friendly. She's empathetic. You wouldn't know really if she's AI or not. She's got a normal voice just like all of us. Like I said, she remembers past conversations. She encourages them to get out of their rooms, go to the restaurant, go to the spa, go to the gym, engage with your friends. No medical device provided or needed. Definitely reduces loneliness, anxiety, and depression. What else? Sensors, wearables. Mila is integrated into wearable devices, little tags in their shoes. What does it do? If somebody falls, Mila is notified and Mila notifies the staff. Tremendous to keep them safe. If there's a fall, they're taken care of right away because they're notified right away. Why? Because of AI. Virtual reality. Mila also offers virtual reality, which is immersive experiences to reduce the feeling of isolation. It takes them on virtual travel trips, takes them around the world. They want to go to Rome, they want to go to London, they want to go to Asia, they want to go to Africa. Wherever they want to go, they put on the VR headset and off they go on their trip. So thank you everybody for your time. If you have any questions afterwards, please come see me.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. You know, how many of you watch Batman, the movie? Okay, so you know what is Gotham City? Gotham City is just like New York. They are changing into an AI and computer era. So next time in the Batman movie, you will see Batman, Robin, and Greg. Because Greg is going to combat the bad people using AI and computers. He's the expert. So you will see that in the next Batman movie. All right. Next one. Our next speaker is someone who is hated by cancer cells. All the cancer cells hate this person. And you see the protest right outside the Trump Tower this afternoon, when some of the people are protesting against President Trump, and many of the cancer cells are protesting against Sean Du. Let's welcome to the stage the Director of Oncology from Johnson & Johnson, Sean Du.
Good evening, everyone. Really happy to be here. Thank you, Elvis, for the invitation to the last World Speaker Series of the year in 2025. Great to see a couple of familiar faces from previous events. And today I want to give you all sort of a really high-level 30,000-foot view of some of the latest trends of innovation in pharma and biotech and life sciences. And by way of introduction, my name is Sean Du. I have a PhD in health economics and policy from Johns Hopkins, and I'm currently, in my day job, the group director for real-world value and evidence, which is commercial data science strategy to support our pharmaceutical product commercialization and launch. So I do always have to give a disclaimer that everything I say tonight, during and after my little talk here, all opinions and views are fully my own, and I do not represent the views of Johnson & Johnson. So get that out of the way.
So we'll get something real.
Exactly, off the cuff. So Joaquin Duato, our current CEO of Johnson & Johnson, recently said something very striking a couple years ago. Said that advances in science and technology will transform healthcare more in the next decade than in the past century. So I'll say that again. Advances in science and technology will transform healthcare more in the next 10 years than in the past 100 years. I'm going to say that that's a bit of an exaggeration, but not by much. And I think that really captures the point that's driving home. Already in the past 10 years, we've seen deaths due to cancer fall by over a third, by over 30%, just in the last 10 years alone. As another example, drilling down into a specific type of cancer, multiple myeloma is a very severe type of blood cancer that was once thought incurable. And in the past couple of years alone, even on the strength of J&J products, we've been able to increase life expectancy from about 2 to 3 years to 10 years, and for some patients have a functional cure, which is nothing short of a medical miracle. So again, I only have 10 minutes because these are lightning round talks, and so I'll really just touch on 2 things today. The first, I'll give you all a case example of a direct bladder cancer innovative treatment that I've worked on and helped Johnson & Johnson launch actually 3 months ago, which is very exciting. And we actually just got another indication launch today as well. And then I'll give a super, super high level overview of some trends of artificial intelligence in pharma and biotech, as well as trends in the next 5 years. Obviously, I have to keep this very high level because, again, we only have 10 minutes. So I want to spend a couple minutes talking about Inlexo. This is an intravesical drug-releasing system that's basically that little pretzel that you see up there on the top right. So why is this little pretzel at the forefront of innovation in cancer, right? I'll take a step back and level set with bladder cancer. In particular, this drug that was just approved in September treats high-risk, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer, which by itself is not life-threatening, but if left unchecked, can be severely life-threatening and severely debilitating to the patient, where if they don't die, they often have to get their bladder, and depending on if you're a man or woman, uterus and prostate surgically removed. So huge quality of life challenges. Now the standard of care here after initial treatment is chemotherapy. And I think, if either any of you in the room or you have loved ones who have gone through chemotherapy in the past, will kill cancer cells, but it's like a big bomb. It'll kill a lot of healthy cells as well. Patients will have nausea, vomiting, and sometimes even, lifelong neurological symptoms after they stop the treatment. And so how do we get the best benefits of chemotherapy without the side effects? This is where it comes in. So you can see that the pretzel is a little bit larger than the size of a US quarter. The outside is a flexible tube, and the inside is a cancer-fighting medicine called gemcitabine, which is a type of chemotherapy. And you can see in the sort of bottom right, it's hard to see if you're far away, but you can see that the drug-device combination is inserted directly into the bladder, it freely floats in the bladder, and it slow releases the drug to fight the cancer cell, which is sort of that little flower-shaped thing at the bottom. And so because it's slow release, instead of direct infusion, like a traditional chemo, you get even stronger efficacy without all the negative toxicities of chemotherapy. So I'll show you a quick video if you want to pay attention to how it's inserted. So you can see it's done by a 30-second procedure. It envelops from a linear kind of line into the bladder shape so that it stays in the bladder, and once it's released, right, it stays in the bladder, fights the tumor cells, and is eventually extracted using the same procedure. So I can show you that again. It seems like a lot of people were taking pictures. Yeah, so it's done by a 30-second procedure, loops into the pretzel shape, and then it's free floating. Yeah. So we were super excited. It took about 10, 12 years to get this to market. So it's just launched in September, so super excited about that. And I'm not going to go through all this. These slides would definitely take more than 10 minutes. That was the highlight of my presentation. I'll just go through some really quick major trends in AI and pharma and biotech. So everyone knows that AI is used and machine learning is used to discover new proteins. You know, Google has AlphaFold, discover new drugs and molecules, right? But I actually want to talk about the less sexy, but arguably even more important AI use cases in the business, supply chain, and operations just applications in pharma. One of the most important things is that AI already has and will have huge potential to accelerate the development of clinical trials, which are needed to get drugs approved to market. Clinical trials are by far the most costly part of pharma R&D, taking from tens to hundreds of millions of dollars before a drug is launched on the market, anywhere from 8 to 12 years. And so already AI is finding eligible patients in a haystack, automating sort of when to start and stop trials, and by operating in a sort of autonomous way, reducing timelines of clinical trials by 2 years already, and it'll reduce it even more in the future. So that's tens of millions of dollars right there before factoring the kind of downstream costs. And sort of, again, just super high level trends of impact in the 5 years. You know, everyone knows about GLPs, Ozempic, Wegovy, right? But the next generation versions of Ozempic, Wegovy, the oral versions and the versions that will come, I think is a place to really watch for. And I feel like that's not always talked by Wall Street. It thinks more about today. Because these drugs have huge potential, not just on obesity, but to directly treat cardiovascular, heart health, renal cell carcinoma, so kidney cancer and kidney care, and even potentially, potentially Alzheimer's. That's a big question mark, but that's also been a very hard place to tackle. Obviously, I think the previous professor talked about precision medicine, so I won't go there, but huge area of impact in the next 5 years, as well as unlocking patient data. And I think ultimately, I'll close with this. You know, all of these innovations are very exciting to me, right? And they're exciting to businesses, investors, because they'll bring in a lot of money to pharma companies, hospitals, of course, right? Healthcare is 25% of the GDP in the US. But much more importantly, we have to remember that patients are waiting, right? We have an imperative in our field to accelerate and bring these drugs to market, obviously to recuperate and make a profit for the companies, but much more importantly, to serve our patients who are loved ones, our families, and our close friends, right? Ultimately, patients are waiting, and I think it's very exciting that we have, this whole decade of innovation to look forward to, in the years ahead. So happy to take any questions maybe after the chats. This was sort of a super high-level overview, but thank you for listening, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Zhongju, for making the subject. Thank you, Zhongju, for making the subject of cancer and death so interesting. So the next toy I'm going to buy for myself is the microscope. I will change my hobby as well. My hobby is used to be stamp collection and old coin collection, but now I'll start to collect virus samples and bacterial samples. Maybe one day they will sell for a great price. Next up, we have someone who is a walking encyclopedia of drugs. And we heard this saying, clinical trials are exciting, they're like dating. You tell the truth, you develop a good relationship, but you don't know what phase you are in. Also, when you do clinical trials in October, it's called treat or treatment. Let's welcome to the stage Dr. Mark Hesselbaum. He is the Chief Medical Officer at Tetris Biosciences.
嗨，大家好，我非常高兴告诉你们我的研究。I'm excited to say some of these slides I actually showed in Jilin, so 我是东北人 so you can be proud. So I want to tell you a very complicated story, but I'm not going to tell you the complicated part. I'll try to make it simple. It's exciting. It's also there were a bunch of people talking about longevity. So this is actually the one thing about longevity that's actually scientifically proven. So here am I talking a little longer. So let's see, what's the next one? Okay, so this is who I am. My story is generally that I was an academic physician. I was a cancer doctor. Blood cancer doctor. I trained at the University of Washington. I ran a new drug program at City of Hope for many years. Went through various jobs, got my full professorship. Then went into pharma. Did very nicely there. I even had a company. Where's that pharma guy? I had a company that was bought by Merck for $2.9 billion. So this is a good story. So what I'm going to tell you now in very short, concise fashion is about more than 10 years of work that came to a really happy end exactly a week ago. So my last few slides I'm going to show you are pictures that I took at the big blood cancer conference last week in Orlando. So it's really cool to be able to tell you the good ending to the story. So as you know, blood cancer, leukemia is a terrible disease. Still a terrible disease. But it used to, when I started my career, it was much more horrible. So if you see, it's used primarily people as they get older, and the older people get, the worse the disease gets, and the treatments were essentially terrible in the old days. So, you know, in older patients, there's a lot of factors that make things worse with the disease. So people have stronger disease, harder to treat, makes them more sick, much bigger challenge. Now, this is what things look like this is exactly when I started to do new drug development. This is what it looked like. In younger patients who have the disease, like 50% of patients can get some response for a little while, but the vast majority of the patients who are the older patients got very little benefit from treatment. But it didn't stop everybody from treating them. So we gave very intense chemotherapy, very nasty treatments. I'm sure the things that people think about in this audience, when you think about when people get cancer and how they look, that was what would happen with patients with leukemia who are older. So I'm going to tell you, I'll give you the ending away from the start. It's a whole new story now. For both older and younger patients, we have molecular treatments that are much more effective without any of those old toxicities. So let me show you briefly what we did. So the first thing was, this was like a big moment for me. When I started to do leukemia work as a new drug development person, as a person who used to do blood stem cell transplants before, was the fact that it didn't matter. Even if we gave intensive chemotherapy, the outcomes were the same. In the older patients, they just didn't work. So it seemed to me at the point obvious that there was no point in giving these nasty, poisonous treatments to people who aren't going to respond. So we spent a lot of time developing a new way of treating them. And in order to understand what we discovered, I will have some colorful slides. These are, by the way, exactly the only drugs that I know that are actually effective in longevity work are drugs in this class. So particularly in skin cancer. So let me explain how this works, because this is kind of cool. And actually, these two slides got me a lot of invitations to speak all over the world, so I'm glad to share them with you. But essentially, I'm going to talk about something called epigenetics. Epigenetics is changing the way that genes function without affecting the actual genes, without changing DNA or any of that. Rather, the way that DNA and genes can be turned on and off. So rather than changing the genes themselves, which is a much more toxic thing to do, we can actually control them by simply turning them on and off. And the best example for this, I think, is Dr. Valeria Santini, Milano, her slide. See these two animals? Now, if you came from another, you guys are trying to get this thing? Yeah, well, my throat was. So, if you look at these two animals, if you were coming from another planet, you would not think that they were the same thing, right? But actually, they have the same DNA. Now, as you know, every cell in your body has all of your DNA. So obviously it's very important that some of it get turned on correctly, on and off in the right way. You don't want, for example, teeth growing on your forehead. So how does that get controlled? So the way that control happens is something called epigenetics. So these two guys are the same, but all the genes that make it look like this get turned off, and then these genes that make it look like this get turned on. So controlling that process is exactly what happens in cancer. So I had to give a talk, I had to give a couple talks around the world. I didn't want to use her slides. I wanted to come up with my own picture for this, like a very American way to present this data. So here it is. You ready? You ready? You with me? Okay. So this is my slides to present this concept. So this is the Incredible Hulk. Now, this metaphor is very important because it's exactly what happens in lymphoma, leukemia, and autoimmune disease. Now, see, if you know the story, this guy and this guy are the same. But in the face of dangerous circumstances, if there's an enemy or some kind of problem that happens in the surrounding environment, he takes on these adaptive changes and can fight against the invader. Now that's exactly what happens in our body, probably to most of us right now at this very moment, because of the flus that are going around when you get a cold, right? So our lymphocytes, our immune system, goes from being resting cells that are sitting in the lymph nodes, they transform and become this monstrous killer cell that runs around and kills all the invaders. But the trick is, it has to come back. It has to go back to normal. Now, if it doesn't go back to normal, then you get a situation. You get any of three situations. You get leukemia, where the cells just keep growing. Lymphoma, another form of cells just growing, or autoimmune diseases, where the cells fight normal targets, like they fight your own body. So the question is, yes, like lupus, exactly. So the question is, so the whole point of this talk is, can we turn the leukemia process around and make the leukemia cell become this guy? And if we do that, we change survival. So the answer is, as of last week, yes, we can do that for everyone. I don't think I have a lot of time. I just want to show you. This is work from my own lab with Yanju that I did, where we worked very heavily on this process. And this is a patient with lymphoma who was sent to a hospice to die. She had very, very big tumors. You don't need to be real. See this big black thing here? So we gave her a drug called an HDAC inhibitor that is meant to turn around this process. And 6 months later, she came back to the clinic. We thought she had passed away. 6 months later, she came back to the clinic out of hospice and was entirely cured of the disease. And she's still alive today. So it's over 15 years that this patient is in response.
So you have to retreat. So what's the percentage?
Oh, it's just an oral drug. It's the same drug that's...
You don't get success.
This particular drug is the same drug that seizure patients take. And it has that activity. So they just stay on it. It's not toxic, nothing. So we published this. Then we had another study with a commercial product Merck. You can see this patient has a lot of tumor. No chemotherapy, just a pill. Take it in my mouth. And it's also still in response many years later. So this is kind of the idea. So if you understand that, you can, that's the main takeaway. Let me just show you some quick data, and then let you get on to whatever else you're doing tonight. But here is some stuff that we published demonstrating this in lymphoma patients that we did at City of Hope in my California days. So now, just very quickly, because I know I'm running out of time, I want to show you the data in leukemia that we just got this past week that showed that using these kind of drugs now is effective against leukemia in all ages. So here was the first evidence. This drug, azacitidine, is a hypomethylating agent. It's an epigenetic drug. It's the first one on the market that had this activity. And this was studied against all chemotherapies, transplants, any kind of therapeutics. And this mild therapy that doesn't need people to be in the hospital, doesn't make them lose their hair, doesn't make them sick, was more effective than the nasty chemotherapy that we used to see. Now again, this is not like magic or alternative medicine or anything. This is standard medicine that we do as we practice in the hospital. So the question was, how can we make it better? So I published a study a couple of years ago where we got a 50% response rate in upfront leukemia when we added 2 epigenetic drugs together, which was, I think, one step forward. But now we have a much more effective and better combination. There's a drug called venetoclax, which is a BCL2 inhibitor. Essentially, the HMAs are the epigenetic drugs that we're talking. Their goal is like that returning from the Hulk state to a normal state, they bring back the normal profile of the DNA from the mutated one, and then combine it with what's called a BCL2 inhibitor that makes the cells more sensitive to that activity. Now that combination, we're near the end, that combination, 3 slides in the end, that combination has now become the standard therapy. So I'm kind of like pleased to have been an active part in changing the way that therapeutics go in the world for leukemia. So now this is the standard therapy. That was the curve I showed you before. If you add venetoclax, it's even better. So now we're at a point where 90% of patients who are over the age of 60 who get this drug will have a response to this and won't need chemotherapy or any of those like toxic things. The treatment can be done at home. The world is entirely different. So last week, that's why it's a photograph. This is from the convention that I was at, the American Society of Hematology in Orlando last week. So last week they did a study where they took this treatment mode that I've been explaining to you, and instead of limiting it to the older patients, see up till now they gave the toxic chemotherapy to younger patients, and then if they were older or they didn't think they would survive that chemotherapy, they would give them this. But people are starting to say, that chemotherapy doesn't work that well. Why do we keep punishing people with it? So what happens if we use this more tolerable molecular therapy in younger patients and older patients? So what happens? Voila. Actually, they did better. So here is all patients of all ages treated with the standard chemotherapy. If any of you knew people who had leukemia, they went into the hospital, they spent 6 months in the hospital, they were very, very sick, lost all their hair, all that kind of stuff. That's the old standard. If they gave the same types of patients this new epigenetic therapy, this new form of therapy, actually the outcomes were better. So the world just changed a week ago. This is now has become the standard therapy. And this is my last slide. This was the big presentation. You see the film crew and everything. This is the plenary session at ASH. 30,000 people in the room, everybody cheering. Finally, something that I was active, one of the first people to do it. I should add, I was the guy who was sent to Seoul, to Korea, to open this class of drugs when it first came out, many years ago, about 2005. So those of us early people who were in this field, it was very exciting to see. But now the standard of care for everybody is this new form of therapy. And my last sentence is, I'm on the pharma side. I'm the CMO of a drug company, and I have one of my drugs is meant to combine with these and help even increase the activity even more. There are some leukemias that don't respond so well to this therapy that seem to respond to our treatment. So, I think very quickly we will see more and more new therapies in these fields. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Trump. Now we know why Mark can turn out new drugs faster than the Feds can print money. And also we know why Mark invites Mr. and Mrs. Placebo to all his parties, because he has zero expectations of them. With the speakers just now, Mark Hirschbaum, Greg Lakis, Celeb Siemens, and Sean Du, please come to the stage for the appreciation, awards and appreciation ceremony. Yes, come to the stage. Mark, please come to the stage. Celeb, please come to the stage. Yes. We will offer you a certificate of appreciation.
Oh, yeah, good to meet you. Yeah, good to meet you.
Yes, please come to the stage.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
So let's join this.
Photographers, videographers, please take a picture of us. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, look here. Yeah, over here. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have a wonderful story. When you think about Sicily, what comes to your mind? Mafia? Al Capone? Can you imagine someone from Sicily, Italy, made it here in America? And he became the director of Trump's marketing global enterprise. He actually comes from the 22nd floor. We invited him to come down and speak for us. Let's welcome Joseph Medina.
Thank you, Elvis. Thank you very much. Thank you, Leah and Jason. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you tonight? We want to wake you up. I know it's hot. I know it's late. I know we've been talking a lot. I want to thank all the speakers for the great job that they have done. And like Elvis just said, I used to live here. This is my house. My office upstairs. I worked for Donald J. Trump. I was his marketing director. I ran the biggest casino down in Atlantic City. I took a lot of money from people. They also paid me good, and I gave it to Mr. Trump. And then we invested when he ran for president. I did his campaign downstairs. On the first floor, I did all the rallies you saw here. I attended all his rallies elsewhere. And I got a good story. I mean, I've been in New York. I'm an immigrant. I come from Italy, from Sicily. I wish Mr. Lamp was here. Yeah. I tell them I lived with those stores. I lived in the same neighborhood, the same corner with all the Italian people. They are good ones and they are bad ones. You know, each nationality has the 1%. Yeah, we love the Italian food as well, right? Well, I tell you the truth, I am in good health because I have a mom who's 90 years old. She cooks for me every night. Every night. She washes all my shirts by hand. She folds them. So she really spoiled me. So any other woman coming in is going to be a very hard act to follow. But anyway, as I take it to Sicily every summer, I give a 3 months vacation because we have a nice, beautiful villa in Sicily. So we go back to but when I came to this country, you know where I lived? I lived in Mackay, Chinatown, East Broadway, Mott Street. That's where I grew up. And my first language, besides Sicilian, was Cantonese. So that's the first language I had to speak for 6 months. I didn't understand any other language. I thought that was English. From there, I learned Spanish. Mira, 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 por aquí, por allá. So I learned Spanish. So it was incredible. My third language was English. English. Finally, I got it. But then I was in high school. I went to Seward Park High School downtown. So there they teach every language: Hebrew, Chinese, Russian. So I started picking up. So I was getting ready to go to college, and I got accepted at Columbia University. So I graduated Columbia University 3 years before Obama. We graduated at the same time with the governor of New York, David Patterson. Remember David Patterson, right? The blind guy? Yeah. Very great guy. I mean, we were in law school. Actually, after Columbia, we went to law school. We did a law school in 2 years. It's a 3-year course. We did a law school in 3 years. So you could tell we were working very hard. Why we were working so hard? Because my father was running a business. He owns the horse and carriage in Central Park. So at the age of 20, I had to manage 200 people training horses every day while going to Columbia University and stay on the honor list. It was not easy. But that's what, in American, it's incredible the possibility that we have. And we don't appreciate it because we come from a little town in Sicily, 5,000 people, to New York. It's a big move, right? But we learned this is a great land of opportunity. So then while I was in making bread, you know, I'm a baker, I'm a pizza man. Those are all the trade. I worked for around a pastry shop, the greatest, pastry shop in America, 1892 on Grand Street, right? But then I said, I want to work for myself. And when I work for myself, that's what happened. You know, with the horses, the carriage, and everything. Even now, if you go to Central Park, you're going to see my horses running around. Okay? But anyway, that was not exciting enough. So after that, after law school, I went to radio business. I became a radio announcer. Then I became a TV announcer. Then I worked for Mr. Trump at Atlantic City. I had an office here, upstairs, an office at Atlantic City. And from there, then I came back, and I fired him. Usually he fires you, but I fired him because I had a television job. So it was good. But anyway, he was a great man. He was very kind. He introduced me to his wife, Marla Maple, sitting next to me. We had a nice big dinner in the ballroom. I also met his first wife, Ivana, with Luciano Pavarotti here at the Guggenheim. So we're together at the Guggenheim Museum. And then I met Ivana, the last one, Melania, while we were doing the campaign. And when he won the night, he invited me to the Hilton Hotel, and he gave me VIP front seat. So I was able to stay with him, work with him. I think he's going to do a great job. But we want to thank these people for organizing such a great speakers forum, because it gives an opportunity to learn, to hear what the other people do. And I was listening to you. I mean, I learned something today from you guys. And I want to come back, and we have to, be able to do more. I want to thank my friend Jimmy Chu, who was supposed to speak tonight, but unfortunately got held up with business, and he's a very busy man. In fact, he came and worked with me during the campaign on Trump. So Jimmy Chu is a good man, and he's going to keep doing the good stuff. So I want to thank all of you, and I hope you have a great time. I know it's hot usually. It's hot, and I hope to see you guys again. And I do travel from New York, I go to Florida, I go to Sicily. That's my life. 4 months in New York, 4 months in Florida, 4 months in Sicily. Not bad, right? That's it. So enjoy yourself. Thank you for coming, and God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph Medina. Whether you like President Trump or not, you need to bear with for another 3 years. But now you have the Trump card. If you don't have the Trump card, ask for Mr. Joseph Medina. We can give you a lot of good luck. The Trump card that you can play with or against Trump. Oh, also, we have letter of appreciation. Yes, thank you for coming to the meeting.
Thank you.
Look here.
Come to join us.
Join us.
Yeah.
Join us.
Come join us. Keep it personal. It's very personal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is someone who knows history better than Google searches. And the irony is that she's going to teach us to learn from history and be able to project it into future goals and to deal with our destiny. I wished all the textbooks are written by her instead of by Professor Boring. Let's see what she has to say. Let's now welcome to the stage Miss Sally Jones. Jason, where are you? Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. My name is Sally Jones, and I am a proud peace activist. My 45-year career was in software development. Now I spend my volunteer time with Peace Action. Peace Action began in 1957 as the Committee for a Sane Nuclear Policy. And eliminating nuclear weapons has been a key goal of our organization since then. I volunteer at the local level with Peace Action of Staten Island, at the state level with Peace Action Fund of New York State, and at the national level participating in National Peace Action's strategy and lobbying activities. One of the things I am most proud of is Peace Action Fund of New York State's program supporting students who want to learn more about foreign policy and how it affects their lives. We work with students on 12 to 15 chapters across the state each semester, providing them with opportunities to come to the United Nations for conferences and meet with other young people who care about these issues from around the world. So let's begin. I'm calling this presentation Nuclear Weapons and the Future of Humanity. Last month, I reread George Orwell's novel, 1984, that he wrote in 1949 about a dystopian world 35 years in his future. It was a world where there had been a catastrophic atomic war. The book describes what happened. Atomic bombs first appeared as early as the 1940s and were first used on a large scale about 10 years later. At that time, some hundreds of bombs were dropped on industrial centers, chiefly in European Russia, Western Europe, and North America. The effect was to convince the ruling groups of all countries that a few more atomic bombs would mean the end of organized society, and hence of their own power. Thereafter, although no formal agreement was ever made or hinted at, no more bombs were dropped. Unfortunately, the aftermath of that fictional atomic war is not peaceful, but militaristic and totalitarian. Peace activists imagine and work for a different future for our world. In our world today, we have actually managed to reduce the number of nuclear warheads from a high of 60,000 in 1986 during the Cold War. There has been important arms control work over the last 40 years. Today we have 3,912 deployed nuclear weapons, many of them on hair trigger alert, 5,702 stored nuclear weapons, and 2,627 retired nuclear weapons. A total of 12,241. It is still a very dangerous situation. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institution, C3, 9 countries have nuclear weapons. You can't probably read the names, but going from left to right here, the USA, Russia, China, France, the UK, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea all have nuclear weapons. Over 90% of the nuclear weapons that we have today are in the arsenals of the United States and Russia. All these countries on this list are modernizing their nuclear arsenals, with some countries deploying new nuclear-armed and nuclear-capable weapon systems. It's not just the 9 countries that we need to be concerned about. There are more than 40 countries that have nuclear weapons or the capability to develop them. The countries in yellow are the current 9 who have nuclear weapons, and the 33 in white have the technological capability to become nuclear weapon states. If even a small and crudely constructed nuclear bomb were to be used in a major city like New York, the death toll could exceed 1 million. According to author Graham Allison, director of the Better Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard, a detonation of a relatively small nuclear weapon in Manhattan, not far from here, could kill everyone within a half-mile radius of Times Square. Even more would die from collapsing buildings, fire, and fallout. Hospitals, doctors, and emergency services would be overwhelmed by the wounded. Firefighters would be battling an uncontrolled ring of fires for days to come. The economic impact would be enormous. To give you an idea of the type of devastation that would occur, here is a photo of Hiroshima. On August 6, 1945, the city of Hiroshima was destroyed by a single U.S. nuclear weapon, equivalent to 15 kilotons of TNT, killing 90,000 people almost immediately and 145,000 people by the end of 1945. 3 days later, the city of Nagasaki was destroyed with another atomic bomb with a capacity of 20 kilotons of TNT. 40,000 people almost immediately died, and 75,000 people were dead by the end of that year, 1945. There is no dispute that nuclear weapons are immoral, for the same reason that they are illegal. They kill indiscriminately and cause unnecessary suffering through the short and long-term effects of heat, blast, and radiation. Since the beginning of the nuclear age, these weapons and their delivery systems have cost the U.S. alone more than $7.5 trillion. In recent years, the U.S. has spent $60 billion annually on nuclear weapons and their delivery systems, far higher than during the Cold War. These are funds that could have been used for healthcare, like we learned today, education, disaster relief, and other vital services. It's not just the potential use of nuclear weapons in a conflict or an accident that is the problem. The testing of nuclear weapons has caused considerable destruction and suffering. It is estimated that the testing of nuclear weapons has caused the premature deaths of at least 100,000 to 500,000 people around the world. Testing was particularly prevalent on the lands of indigenous people. This is a picture of the Nevada test site, where approximately 90% of U.S. nuclear tests have occurred, most of them underground. Another concerning development is that on October 20th of this year, President Trump called on the Pentagon to resume testing nuclear weapons immediately. Though it was unclear whether this referred to nuclear explosive testing or testing of the delivery systems. In sum, nuclear weapons are catastrophically dangerous, incompatible with global security, enormously costly, illegal under international law, and immoral. At a summit meeting in 1986 in Reykjavik, Iceland, Gorbachev and Reagan, Gorbachev, the president of Russia, and Reagan, the president of the United States, came close to agreeing to abolish their nuclear arsenals. But in the end, negotiations failed when Reagan would not give up U.S. missile defense plans. While these politicians held a vision of a nuclear weapons-free world, they did not provide the leadership necessary to achieve this goal. Peace activists appeal to nuclear power leaders to take the following steps. De-alert nuclear weapons that are on hair trigger alert. Commit to a no first use policy. Commit to developing no more new nuclear weapons. Ban nuclear testing forever. Control the nuclear material that's out there. Sign and ratify the Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and provide resources for peace. It is up to all of us, each of us, all of us, to assure a human future by ending nuclear weapons that threaten the end of human life. I urge you to contact me at Sally Jones at PANYS.org or go to PANYS.org and learn about how you can get involved. And I have some cards here, and thank you for listening. It's a hard thing to listen to, and I really appreciate you being here to listen.
Thank you, Sally Jones, for providing a valuable lesson to us, which is the most poignant lesson we should know. And please stay for the certificate of appreciation.
she won't.
Everybody, please be quiet. Thank you very much for being patient. We are coming to the last speaker, but Michael has something to say.
So many years ago, my grandmother was in China right before the Second World War, and she was pregnant with my father. And she went to Japan to have a baby, and she went there, got out of there, and last year at Oslo in Norway with the laureates that won the Peace Prize. I was there with the two survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki who spoke, and they were wonderful people. And they talked about the horrors. At the time, I forget the young lady's name, but I have dyslexia, so sometimes, and I've been on the run here for 24 hours. She talked about feeding the victims of war. At that time, they didn't realize that if you do that, you rip the patient apart internally, and that ages. She talked about it was horrible. So there's no room for this type of activity. And our other foundation, the Global Chinese Jewish Peace Research Institute, and then our Foreign Transnational Consortium Commerce and our Global Hero Peace, my private foundation in New Jersey, we're working towards peace in a number of ways. One of which is where there's good commerce, there's no war. All right? And the second thing is good education. And from there, what you have to do is guard against the transactions between people, because that's where it starts. It starts between two people in the same village, between two states in the same country, and between countries. And when that gets out of balance, mostly economics, we need to war because we're trying to pull resources. But in all our religions, we're judged by our Maker, by how we do that, whether we're good or bad. And the work you're doing and what you talk about, we love you. It's right up around, and I'm very honored that I could actually do this. I have no idea my life would have happened to me. Now, my wife, Lan, my Chinese wife, everybody knows her, along with Liu Kai. Remember Liu Kai, the artist? They formed Tiananmen Square. My wife got away. But Liu Kai, the artist, my follower's best student, he is still under watch by the Chinese. They have every right to do that for what's going on. But with all that we're trying to find a small measure of peace in our life. And I want to thank you for doing that. I know how hard that work is. We also gather the facts, and then I'll make a statement and come here tonight. I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Can you read out?
I would not do that. I have Boston International Peace Letter of Appointment, 2025. We are pleased to appoint Sally Johns as professor. Okay? And it's signed by the co-founder, so very nice certificate. All right, this is Boston International School Business School, Certificate of Honor 2025. This certificate is proudly presented to Sally Johns. I am honored to do it.
I just wanted to thank you very much, and I know that this is something that's very hard for us to face, but I think that with all the smart people that you have here, maybe some of their intelligence can be used to solve this problem. We need everybody. I mean, we really need the brilliance that we heard in this room. I also believe that we all want to get rid of nuclear weapons. I think every single person in this room wants to get rid of nuclear weapons. And now, and our leaders do. I mean, they have to be able to do it.
Julie, come on. Julie Law.
Okay.
Just look straight ahead.
Yeah, look here. Yeah.
Don't move.
Yeah, don't move.
I don't see big smile.
Okay.
Our last speaker is someone who answered the eternal questions that has plagued the human society for thousands of years. He will talk about peace and prosperity. He's got all the credentials. He's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's Nobel Peace Prize nominee for 5 times. His name is Michael Daly. He's the CEO of Aramco Singapore and the Nobel Peace Prize nominee. Let's welcome him to the stage. Michael Daly.
I know it's very late, so my speech is very short. These are the notes I put together, but I didn't realize the amount of time.
Everybody please be quiet and let the speaker give his speech.
Please go back to your seat and then we'll come after. This is a Nobel Peace. Glory.
We will network and have dinner afterwards. Please listen to the message of Nobel Peace Prize nominee, which is what you need, peace for everybody.
So, I have a lot of stories. I know a lot of interconnecting people here. My brother was the president of Merck and Steri, and you guys all did deals with my brother. And, you know, the old-time pharmaceutical companies, they're changing, right? And then one day there's a story. I was at the Patriots, the Jets game, and Christopher was there, your owner. And I was with Charles Sullivan. Charles is his brother's the head of Dana-Farber. And the funny thing about it, when I was standing there, they invited me up into the owner's suite for the Jets with Charles. And it was funny to see that that day the Jets were playing the Patriots, and it was a hard day to go through for 45 minutes. We successfully left. We did win that day, Patriots. Anyway, so tonight I have to say my friend and colleague, Sir Larry Kahn, is not here. He has another obligation. He was going to speak also. He was nominated for my foundation. We'll talk about that for the Nobel Peace Prize, along with the UN and the Quakers. A lot of people are saying that we weren't nominated. I was nominated in the same fashion. And I never expected that in my life. But I was working on this for more than 12 years, the work that we were doing. And so I'm going to talk about 3 things. Before I got here today, why we're here, and where we're going in the future. All right, and if I can keep that short, I'll just tell a few jokes. The reason why I wear the hat, when I land at the airport, all the pilots see the clearing on my head and they want to land. So I want to get here safe. So we don't want to do it. Now, some of the people, where's Margaret Liu? Margaret, is she still here? Yes. Okay, thank you, Margaret. Her son worked for me at Homeland Security for 911, and I was the subject matter expert on that system for Gartner Consulting. I did take over the contracts from Northrop Grumman, Verizon, the rest of them. I was a single vendor, got in there, became a prime vendor. That's unheard of. That system defends you every day here in New York City, 8,000 calls an hour. And they deliver fire trucks in 4.5 minutes and police officers. We'll see if that continues into the future, okay? Now, all right, so we're going to talk about how I got started. My grandmother started 20th Century Fox, was a different name company at that time, and a Fox Movies. Later on, I worked for Jeff Torberg with Andy Warhol, and then the movie A Centerfold about Hugh Hefner's life. And then I moved over and I got a job with Eli Mason, the New York State Society Chairman for CPAs and lawyers, and David Goddard, and we were working at that time. I was a no one, but we were working on creating Virgin. So Mr. John was good. We worked on that way before I knew him. I did an NFT at that time, and my mentor became Jack Dreyfus Corp. Herbert Heaton from the Rockefeller Group. And I know, wait till you hear the rest of it. Later on, let me see if I can talk. I have a lot of stuff, but I went into the VC world, and I did about 48 IPOs. I write them, the PPMs, the planning, everything. Later on, I taught that with a Fulbright scholar. All right, that's Dr. Wolf. You guys know Dr. Wolf. He started Michael Dell Computers. All right. So I had that. Several of my students. One is running for president of Haiti, Jude. You know him, and we have other ones in other countries. The other day we were at the Harvard Club, and we had Congressman Ogles there, and I was upstairs and I ran into my old chief marketing officer, and we were down there talking about peace and what we could do. Ogles is a good moving man. He's moving up in the political world, and we're asking for his support in what we're doing in one of the foundations. And so we're moving this area. Everybody else knows I've been on China Daily, I don't know, 12 times. So it's about 1 billion people each time. So when we go on there, I'm not looking for something. We're looking to spread the message that there is no need for war. All right, there is a need for discussions. Right? And my foundation, I've been working over 28 years privately with the unfortunate wrongful death of my beautiful Chinese wife. I had to come out of the shade or the shadows. Charles Sullivan, the ex-owner of the Patriots, said to me one day in 2012, when the police athletically luncheon, you know, they'll kill you for this hydrogen. So I invented a new form of hydrogen. Recently, I found out that I wasn't nominated for the physics, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize because of the hydrogen and what it's going to do. In 48 countries, I presented articles about hydrogen, what it can do. If you have free energy, there's a lot of things you can succeed on without trying. So that's kind of up to now. We'll talk about now. All right. In my prior speech, and also at the UN when I made a presentation there, I think you were there, right? Yeah. What I was saying in there is that China and the U.S. is really at the forefront of problems and solutions. And one of the things I did in the prior speech was saying that we live in a very, very interesting time, extraordinary time. Because when I first started doing business deals in 1976, I couldn't even shave, I had hair. But I would need 40, 50, or 60 people to launch a company. And the initiatives that we were doing at that time came from one person called the entrepreneur, the product champion. And the limitation was their money, time, and labor. With AI, you can get all around that. I am now shrinking a team of 35 post-startup down to 6 or 7. All right, so the normal deal that I would do is we go with the entrepreneurs, 2 or 3 people, then we get up to 12 at 32, right? And when I did USIT for the IPO, it was 8.6 billion here in New York City. We get politics in there. Everybody's fighting for equity, right? And when you go from that 32, 39 to 112, you get a lot of problems where you really can't get out of your way, and you're fighting the bumper car problem. Everything you're doing is going all over the place. What we're doing today is I have 18 IPOs waiting. I was just over yesterday over at the NASDAQ, and I speak with Raymond James and JP Morgan and the rest of the big boys that we work, Mellon Bank too. We were able to do what took maybe 5 years in 2 years or less. And I taught this at the university, almost 4,000 students. All right, and with the Fulbright scholar. And then we had, the way you, in my class, in the dean's class, Dr. Wolf's class, my class, if you do your business plan, and I know I'm not easy with this gentleman, I always look away. All right. If you do your business plan and present it to my VCs and you raise your money, you get an A. All right, and it was very successful. Many of my students now are out in the world doing what they had to do. I did this all free, no money, okay, and we're continuing to do it. But we're at the point here in the world where we can solve almost any problem. It's coming up, and we can create innovation, and instead of having one single entrepreneur doing a business venture, we can take those top 8 people and put them into 8 other ventures. Before long, with the VC, we're up in your conversation, the VC money helps everybody in the community. Besides making it more competitive, that money lifts everything up, and it's like economic development. And the Chinese have done a better job at it than we have. And I've been to 80 cities in China, and I do know what's going on. That last conversation, I said that, and I became well known at the UN. That's all I wanted. But we're at the point now where everybody in this room can take their dream with little money and go out and start a venture. All right, and it's really phenomenal. Langshan Mattel Steel, you probably know him, right? Nope. He's a great man. So I think it was in 2010, he became a British subject, and I was there in the Tuttle House when they did it, and we talked about this. AI did not start 10 years ago. It started in 1950. My first experience with AI was LISP, L-I-S-P, 1979. That's when you could actually start programming with this, all right? What we're faced with right today is people who are above us or on side of us that have a vested interest that's contrary to our objectives. And we live in an era where VCs, when I first started, with Eli and the rest, we didn't even know what they were. Worked for the Rockefellers and so on. Right? Today, it is mainstream. And AI is coming in to actually lead the way. Right? You're like, good, okay, so, well, I like the feedback. So this long speech here, I'm going to be publishing some of the articles on the Global Chinese US Peace Research Institute. All right, I know where it's featured. I know everyone wants to go eat, but I have, at the Harvard Club, we launched the foundation. You came, right? Yeah. We had 100 people scheduled, we had 140 people show up. I had Mark Medovich, I don't know if you know Mark, he has the book, The World Run by AI. And I met him in Vienna with the State Department dinner in 2007. We did see Putin at that time, and I got 2 bottles of his vodka. Did that right. But with my Chinese wife, and some of them know, my life dramatically changed because I became a son-in-law of China. And my wife was extraordinarily important to me. It's a shame what they did here and the shenanigans that went on in the court after her death. It's just terrible. All right. But in the last 5 years, I lost my wife, my father, my mom, all at the same time during the pandemic. To talk about longevity, my family lives to be 106. So I have good genes, right? My grandmother, who was hooked on Valium, smoked 2 packs of Marlboros every day almost, right? She also was a very big drinker of scotch. She said to me, burn the candle at the front, at the end, and in the middle. And I said, why? And she said, because you'll be dead for 500 years. The most important thing we do, she's a great lady, the most important thing we do is when we do business transactions to keep peace, we should have honorable transactions on the local level between 2 people, in cities, and between countries, and governments. When you have that, you have a low element of crime, and you have a low element of war. Now, there's a lot of things I can talk about. I have a lot of friends. One of my friends we nominated, Dame Kindle, Alice Kindle. She was at the party at Harvard. She graduated Harvard. She was the first one to live near the Dalai Lama. And she was knighted. She owns the real estate in this building, so I was trying to invite her. She owns all the Trump's real estate underneath there. She collected over 800 pieces of the Dalai Lama, and she's donating them back to museums around the world. We did nominate her for peace work because she saved culture. Without the past, you don't know the future, right? You may be done with the past, it's not done with you. So I could talk about a lot of things. I don't know what everybody wants. I'll put up the mic. Anybody wants me to talk about how I became nominated, why I became nominated. The reason I became nominated was the work I was doing focused on economics and peace. Where we have good transactions and people eat 3 meals a day and they raise their kids and they make art and music and everything else, there's no war. We need to come back to that, and we're focused on that. That's pretty much, I mean, I don't know what else you want, but I had a slide presentation, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that stuff. But I'd be happy to help anybody in their foundations do things. All right, my foundation in New Jersey, one of them is Forgotten. She was the first female lawyer out of NYU Law. My coach was the fencing coach there, Hugo Costello. Right? And it's a great school, and I was the only company she invested in that was in a bond. And she died at 103, if I'm not mistaken. My father died at 97. I was in Wuhan in December 2009 when we came back, and we think he got infected by that. And then my grandma was 106 when she died. So there's a lot to say about genetics and everything else, but we live in an era where the medicine with the AI, we're about to solve everything that the snake oil salesman did in 425, right? But we're legitimately doing it, not a fake promise. And if you live the next 5 to 10 years, you may live for 30 more years. For every 7 years of medicine in the United States, you live another 10 years. And anyway, so I want to thank you tonight. Is there anything else you want to hear about, or I don't know. Forget about it. Let's go.
How you get nominated?
Okay, I was writing articles or private papers, submitting them to countries to my foundation. We're publishing some of them on the website. The new one I'm doing is about this. It's going to the President of the United States. Congressman Ogle said to me he would deliver it, and we're working up that ladder. What's going to happen by 2035, China's population will be about 200 to 350 million people. So they have an overhang of people. And they are the ones that make all the innovative products. Like, for instance, the robots, the AI, and so on. All our supply is in China. We need that supply here in the United States so we can start off the next bubble of innovation. For Charlie Rangel and President Bush, I was the chairman of global trade for Port Elizabeth in 2007. What I found out there was that if that closes in 4.5 weeks, we start here in New York City. All our supply is there. I think NAFTA was the worst thing to do. But in this paper, what I say is that China has a big problem. They have too much labor for innovation. To solve that overhang of potential innovation or labor, they have to expand their markets around the world. And the One Belt Road Initiative I talked about is brilliant what they've done, and I always commend them. It is amazing what they have done in one generation. The issue is they can't come off that labor too fast, which gives the United States the opportunity for innovation. But we need all the robotic parts that come from China. So we have to start looking at the lower population can produce more products per person or services that can be distributed around the world. And I know Trump is looking at that. The other stuff he's doing, I don't know everything about that. I know about what I'm focused on. And the innovation here is what we need in the United States. And the VCs and the medicine, there's two industries we beat the Chinese on. One of which is medicine with the 1986 Tax Act. Right, that was the thing that they did with the charging off research and development only in the United States. All right, the other one is aviation, but that's a very thin margin. In 2007, I was in Wuhan on a mission with the Vatican to open up a religious practice in China in exchange for allowing the pharmaceutical companies to deliver services with the blessing of the Vatican, as was told to me, around the world. Because what they wanted is open practice of religion. And there's some problems there, but as a son-in-law in China, I'm in the middle, and I wish my lovely bride was here, but she's departed now. So I'd be happy to take questions if you want. You can look up the foundation, the Global Chinese U.S. Peace Research Institute. That one's pretty much done. The press releases are coming out, and we're working endlessly with 48 countries to bring about a change in how we look at things, to work together. All right, so thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Michael Daddy. Thank you. I'm so inspired by Michael that my next job will be to broker peace between my cats and dogs. And after that, I will try to broker peace between my cat and my mice. And after that, it's for you to do broker peace between the tigers and the lions. Okay, and then we would like to appreciate Michael Daly's effort by giving him a certificate of appreciation. Michael Daly, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us your inspiring journey.
We're going to be up in Boston at the university, also MIT, to do speeches. You can find me on the web, Michael Daly, and then with Queen Lightning and then China Daly, and then stuff to get at MIT. In public, I'm a man of few words. Tonight was more than I probably spoken in about 100 years, but private I speak a lot.
Okay, take some pictures. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you. I want to say my special thanks to someone who is very special, who doesn't check their text, who doesn't check their emails or Instagram pictures. That's you, my audience. My dear audience, you have been very patient and try your best to take part in the intellectual dialogue. Thank you. Please give yourself a big round of applause. And next, we would like to thank our various speakers for giving us big insights and for the organizer, Boston International Business School. Please give it a big round of applause also. And remember, we'll meet again January 22nd. January 22nd. And before you go, remember, I give you a lot of bad jokes today. That's to make you feel superior, make you feel intellectually superior, that you will develop your superiority complex. Once you have the superiority complex, you will incite the superhero in you. When you have the superhero in you comes out, you will conquer New York and you will conquer the world. That's what we are here for. Please remember to conquer New York and conquer the world. Thank you for coming. And we have now announcements from our world level.
Okay. Now, everybody, the best is last. We're gonna watch a small video.
Okay, we have some announcements. Please remember to swipe the QR code to join our group activities and to keep posted for future events. And for those who will purchase the networking tickets, you can remain in the back and do some networking. For speakers and those who purchase VIP dinners, please come to the front and we'll arrange you for dinner with us.
Okay, everybody, attention please. I will so grateful you pay attention to this. Thank you for your time. Watching this short video.
Stage, every discipline.
Hello?
Everybody stay tuned for to watch a little video.
This series brings together finance, technology, AI, science, and geopolitics in a single transformative platform, empowering global leaders to navigate the world's most complex challenges and create a prosperous future for all. In one arena, every insight is the top 3 advantages of the World Speaker Series as compared to other single-page conferences are its ability to deliver a truly multidisciplinary perspective, spark cross-sector innovation, and provide leaders with the holistic insights and foresight needed to make strategic decisions in an increasingly interconnected world. Register now.
So next lecture, January 22nd, Thursday, 6 p.m. again, okay? Okay, the lecture session is finished today. Thank you very much. But if you stay for dinner, please stay. But if you didn't have time to purchase tickets for dinner, can go to the front desk.
to purchase the dinner ticket. So we send the dinner ticket actually is a common donation to support the Boston International Business School. We're a non-profit organization. To organize an event like this take a lot of effort. The space, the labor, and also a lot of organization. So if you can stay for dinner, thank you for your ticket for the dinner. Also, this is considered as a donation to the school. So can keep us going for the next year. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, speakers, please come to the front and get your dinner. And those who have purchased VIP tickets, please also come to the front and get your dinner.